Yeah, it dropped him like a sack of We'll go down and have a look, eh?
Yeah, yeah. I'll fucking gut him and throw him on the ute if that's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, nice. I don't suppose we can dry down there by any chance.
No.
So easy, wouldn't it?
I don't think I'll need the gun down now. I think he's pretty dropped.
Fucking just a boar out by himself. Yeah, beauty, that's a good start.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, just shot this good pig with 25/6. First pig I've hit with it. Well, that was worthwhile having to spotlight it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first pig I've shot with it.
Yeah, is it? Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Is he black and white?
Yeah, black and ginger.
That's, yeah, I shot another one.
Oh, yeah.
Like identical not that long ago. Hey?
Top of the shoulder right through the best meat.
I nearly aimed for a headshot and I was like, oh. It's the first shot of it, I just don't know it, eh?
It's a mess. Oh yeah, so it is. Yeah, no, look, the bullet's lodged right there.
Seriously?
I think so. Unless I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, there it is. There's the metal. See the lead?
Freaking, wait, I'm trying to get it on the camera.
Oh, give it a poke with my knife.
Yeah, there you go. It's lodged in the other shoulder.
Right in his shield.
That's about perfect amount of power, then.
It is. I'm sure we can dig that out in the works, so. Excellent. Well shot. I'll swing him up so his head's facing downhill.
Yeah.
Cool, so bleed him out a bit. Not much come out, there'll be a lot inside him. So, we'll quickly field dress him. So, even if he is a stinking bugger, which I doubt, he's a young pig, the outside of him will be a bit rank from the bone he's just been eating, but the meat should be fine.
Yeah.
So, show how I do it. I don't know if you can get that on video with the bloody light.
Yeah, I got this camera's pretty good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
This is how I do it. No doubt there's 100 different ways to do it. So, first of all is pizzle. So I can cut around there like that.
Yep.
And one thing I always try to avoid is just cutting straight across bristles.
Yep.
If I can, because they're terrible for blunting your knife. So you make your initial cut and then sort of cut from the inside of his skin out towards the bristles. Aussies are a bit fierce. Look at that fat on him. He's in very good condition. So you come down here like that, there's a couple little glands.
So it happens in this sort of country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, glands.
So yeah, it goes without saying that this is a lot easier with a sharp knife. So you come down here, you start to get down to his balls.
Yep.
So just release the sort of skin there. There's a couple of kind of vesicles of some sort here. I'm not sure exactly what part they are, but a couple of wee tubes, you just nick them.
Yep.
See this thing here? Often a bit of semen comes out of here, so if you're collecting scent for training your own pups, it's a good place to find it. So
yep. So what, you grab the semen, or
I won't on this one, but yeah.
If you're training a pup, but
yeah, if I'm training a pup, I'll often carry a small plastic screw-top jar with me, and when I'm gutting the boar, I'll just get it there, because you can squeeze the stuff out of his pizzle as well if you want to. It's pretty gross, but see that?
Yep.
See that coming out?
Perfect for training.
Yeah, mixture of urine and semen. That's perfect for training. So anyway, here you can see the gap between his balls and his thigh muscle.
Yep.
And just open that up with the knife, like so. The Aussies are a bit fierce, eh?
Oh, they are, aren't they?
Yeah. Just trying to avoid cutting as much meat as you can. And the other side. So you can sort of see here, this is basically this whole arrangement. This is my biology coming through. But this disappears up inside his pelvic opening there.
Yep.
Up in here. So you just sort of carefully work around there. You can see that's the edge of his pelvic opening.
Yep.
You cut around there. And you're basically working a circular motion around this hole. Like that. So you've got his arsehole here. You want to work around his arsehole, under his tail, like so. On the other side as well.
Yep.
And then you just very gently, because you really want to try and avoid cutting his poo tube and tainting the meat, to sort of work around it and release it.
Yep.
Now, if you're being really fastidious, you can tie this off with a cable tie. But I often don't bother, especially if it's just destined for dog tucker. But what I normally do is just cut the ball and the balls and the pizzle off, because they're what happens is when we gut them, we'll drag all that through this way, and those get caught up. So
Yep.
onto his guts, grab a handful of his skin.
I like to think I'd do the same thing with my big bulls.
yeah. So you've got to be very gentle here. There's about 3 layers of membrane and stuff you've got to get through till you hit the guts. Now, once I've done that, I'll sort of lift it so I've got a bit of space between the guts and the membranes.
Yep.
Run my knife up here all the way until you hit his cartilaginous bloody sternum.
Yep.
Up there in his ribs. And here, you can see that membrane.
Yep.
That's the diaphragm. Alright, so that's what holds his heart and lungs, separate from the rest of him.
Yep.
If this was a beef, this would be the skirt steak. So anyway, if you're leaving the heart and lungs in for the box or something like that, what you do is come down between his liver, which is here, and his stomach, which is this bit.
Yep.
And you can sort of cut about here. There's a couple of little membranes and sinews holding the liver and the stomach together. Just cut through that, being careful not to pierce the stomach, and you can leave the liver in. It'll stay there with the heart. But anyway, so what I'll do is I'll just cut this diaphragm through here, and once again, sort of the diaphragm's in a semicircle, so you cut in a similar way, like so. So you can see all this blood from the bullet. It's all clotted blood.
Yep.
Alright, come up here, sort of release his throat. So if you want to carry out the jaw, you you do this. So you just cut through there, try to avoid cutting as many bristles. That's his throat. Cut that. Then once again, a lot of this is trying to circular knife work, I guess. So you just get your knife in there, work around and try and release the esophagus and the trachea from the surrounding muscles. So once you got that loosened, there's the messy bit. You get in here, reach right up, try and get a hold of those tubes.
Yep.
And I'll kind of brace my forearms against the opening of his body there and just give it a yank until you release it like so. And then basically you just pull gently. This is a lot easier done on a slope because the gravity helps you out. So this is still the diaphragm and the membranes. You can often just pull those free, but sometimes you need to just get in there with the knife and gently release it again. But this one looks like he's going to pull fairly free. So you can see I've pulled all his arsehole and everything through his bladder, through the opening there.
Yep.
Let's come out. So what I've just pulled out there is leaf fat. That actually usually sits against the inside of his belly, and that is that's beautiful stuff.
Yep.
The dogs love it, but I might not bother. Now, if you're taking him to eat, it's always a good thing to have a look at his liver, as well as his other organs, but the liver's often the most diagnostic. Have a look for any abnormalities. He's got a few, but the ones you really want to be careful of is hydatid, which usually appears as watery cysts.
Yep.
Oh, I'll breathe into Mozzie. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's that. Kidneys, there's another one where it'll turn up.
Got to stick a beep in there.
Yeah. Excuse the language. Yeah, so kidneys is where it'll turn up. Lungs as well. Like that. I mean, I'm certainly no parasitologist. I'm no bloody meat inspector, so my knowledge is real bucket knowledge. I tend to use a very, very crude method of, if it looks dodgy,
don't eat it.
Don't eat it. But you know, there's a lot of stuff that can look dodgy, which is fine, and a lot of stuff you can't see, which is bad for you. So anyway, if the dogs were here and had caught that, and the liver was clean, I usually cut a few slices off to give to them, but my vet would yell at me for that.
Yep.
Raw offal is one of the big sources of infection. So because he hasn't got any sort of a jaw that I want to keep, I'll remove his head.
Yep.
I'll do this last because it can often be a bit hard on the edge of your knife. And just open up where you made that cut. Cut around under his jaw, behind his ears, and work around nice and carefully. And sorry.
You're right.
I'll turn him over so yeah. Go over the other side there.
Yep.
And eventually you'll be able to release enough of these little tendons and membranes. You can sort of bend his head back and expose, see that's the join between his head and his spine. Just work your knife in there. A few little tendons and such in there. Try not to hit bone with your knife, nothing worse for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty rough on the old knife work. So yeah, move his head and now he's ready to carry out. Because he's close to the road, I'm not going to put him on my back and get shit all over me this early in the morning.
Yep.
So what I'll do is get my piece of rope. I've always got it with me. Usually got 3 of these. If we get another boar with a decent jaw I want to carry out, I'll show you the technique of snout roping.
Yeah. If you don't want to do this as well, I think Cane Pig Queensland makes some boar bloody towers with a handle on it and all that sort of thing as well. But otherwise, this will do the job if you have to.
Absolutely. Right, get it around both legs. Always drag him out front ways for a couple of reasons.
Legs bend backwards.
The legs bend backwards.
Instead
If
of
you're dragging that way,
everything.
especially if you're taking him to eat,
Thick.
you know, you can get a lot of dirt and rubbish up inside his bunghole there and all through the belly.
Yep.
And also, the hair runs that way. So instead of dragging it against the grain of the hair, you're dragging it with it.
Yep.
So, usually do that. Look around and find a sturdy stick. Use the handle. Give it a swat. There.
Wasn't so close to a bloody saltwater river, it'd be prime for hunting.
Maybe the old blokes that hunt way out in the middle of bloody cut over crop country would have a hard time, but most of the time we not too hard to find a stick. Quick clove hitch around that. And there's your dragon handle.
And you're away.
And we're away. Trying to find a route through here that's not too bloody wet and muddy.
I think if you get a bit of that hill there, you sort of skip a lot of the deep gully there.
Yeah,
maybe.
gotcha. Alright, head up there then.
It's good being the camera, man.
Alright.
So it's good being the camera, man.
Lot less messy in general.
Yeah. Nah.
So
There's that.
I'll put it right in that and only got a wee bit of blood on my hands. So. Obviously when you throw it on your back it gets a lot messier, but yeah.
That's it. I got a water tank on the back as well if you want to wash them.
Oh, awesome. That's good. How bad they are for the edge. They blunt it like you wouldn't believe.
He does have a lot of fat, this bloke.
He is. Stupid bastard.
I know we just said don't saw, but it almost makes it like a tiny bit.
The easiest way to kind of see how it's set up is to...
There it is.
There it is.
Let's pull this bullet out.
There you go.
Wow.